not go looking for trouble edition.
Hello and welcome to another episode of American Werewolf, where we talk all things horror. I am your co-host Brandon,
and I am Jerry,
and we have a very special guest with us today, and that is Gizmo. He's a special guest, even though he's on every episode now, but he will always be a special guest. He'll be our best guest, no matter what. Him and Dexter. Dexter's not here right now. Dexter's sleeping downstairs, eating whatever he does when we do this. But yeah, we got Gizmo. How you doing, Gizmo? Dude, your dog sucks. Your dog sucks. Nah, just kidding. I love Gizmo so much. He does seem like he's very attached to you, though. I can tell he really missed you.
He's very needy.
But look at that face.
Also, Emma has been dyeing her hair for the last 3 hours, and when she spends a certain amount of time in the bathroom, he doesn't. She's listening to a podcast, so he hears voices in the bathroom, and he's freaking the fuck out right now.
Oh no! I was gonna say I can hear it now too. Actually, that's funny.
Because he's
that's why he's just staring over there.
Yeah, and he's panting really heavy, and he's freaking the fuck out because he's why is she in there for so long?
Oh, don't worry, bud. She'll be back. Is it still red? Does she dye it red still?
Oh, no, she's doing purple.
Okay, gotcha. I know she goes back and forth. But speaking of woman with dyed hair, we got a special movie we are talking about today, as what's behind Jerry and me. It is. Look, we're gonna keep it short, honestly. When it comes to the non-spoiler stuff, because there's no way to talk about this movie without getting into the nitty-gritty of it all. So we're gonna go over briefly a little bit of our thoughts on it and what we think before we go to the spoiler section, but it's gonna be shorter than normal. I honestly, if you're sitting here curious about this movie, I would say don't listen to a review and don't look at a trailer. Don't even read a synopsis, honestly. Just know this is, if you're a fan of horror movies, especially horror thrillers, this is so worth your time. In my opinion, it is one of the most clever thrillers I have seen in quite some time. So clever it got me tongue-tied. Now, I really think it's best you go in blind. Just know it is so worth the watch. Go in, watch the movie, come back, then listen to our review. Normally, I don't care if people don't care about spoilers and stuff. This is one where I really do believe that you should go in completely blind. Do not, don't look up reviews. Don't look at the trailer. If you want, you can read a little synopsis, but I don't think it's necessary. Just know it's a horror thriller with that goes in a completely different direction than you're expecting. But for those who are fine with at least a little few details, the plot for this film goes: nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree. That is the plot for the film Strange Darling, that is written and directed by J.T. Molnar, and it stars Kyle Gallner and Willa Fitzgerald. Kyle Gallner, he's been a face in horror for a few years now. He was in Haunted in Connecticut. That's where he really got his start in the genre. And the movie's not that great, but he was really good in it. And same issue with the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Again, really good in it. Movie's not so great. And he kind of, did a few things here and there, then disappeared. And then he's suddenly been back throughout the last 4 years or so with the Scream 5 film, the requel, and Smile that came out 2 years ago. And I believe he's also going to be popping up in Smile 2. Probably not for long if you've seen the movie. And now he's in And then he was also in last year's The Passenger, which was another great thriller with him. And at that point, when I watched that movie, I thought that was his best performance. But his best performance, in my opinion, is actually in this movie. He really commits to the role. I'm just going to say that. And then on the other hand, behind Jerry, we have Willa Fitzgerald's character, who's known as the Lady. Kyle Gallner is also referred to as just Demon. She is referred to as the Lady. Willa Fitzgerald has been in the Scream TV show, which is where I first learned about her. The show's fun if you're a fan, but she really stood out there along with a few other actors on that show. And then she was also in The Fall of the House of Usher last year, Mike Flanagan's show. Really, really good show.
She fucking kills it in that role. She's honestly one of the best performances to watch in that show.
Yeah, she's not in it much because she's in mainly the flashback scenes in that show.
But when she is on screen, she's just phenomenal.
Yeah, she definitely makes an impact. However, in this film, I think she does her best work yet. Mm-hmm. She really just shows just how much range she has, and I can already see her being the next Scream Queen, standing up next to Mia Goth and Jenna Ortega and all the other newfound horror Scream Queens. I think she's really good in this film. I don't want to get too much into why, because like I said, trust me, there's so many things about this movie I don't want to give away, because that's part of the fun. But she really pulls off her role as the Lady. She's not your typical final girl, which is pretty cool. And same thing with Kyle Gallner playing the Demon. He is also not. He does something. There's something very unique done with his role that I wasn't expecting. Just with both of these characters, it's really, really unique and where they go and turn.
Yeah.
It really goes into a lot of unexpected directions that I felt constantly kept me paying attention to what was going to happen next. That was a good thing. That was the thing I loved about this movie. Honestly, man, there was always something new happening or something new unfolding, and it was always just what the hell's going to happen next. And even if the movie slowed down a little bit visually, it had a lot of great stuff in it too to keep your eyes glued on the screen. Mm-hmm. I thought the cinematography in this was really, really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, particularly the shot that stands out to me is, I think it's chapter. This movie's divided in chapters, by the way, but it's told in a very non-linear fashion. Mm-hmm. So it kind of jumps around the story a little bit, which adds to the fun of what's going on with these two characters and how they got to the point where they end up at. And there's a shot with him just standing there, lining up a cigarette, while a bunch of chickens are kind of just walking around him. Yeah. That stood out so much, honestly. I'm that kind of looked like a painting to me, honestly. And also, cool little fun fact: this movie was shot by Giovanni Ribisi, who is mainly known for his acting. This is his first time doing, being a director of photography for a film. So, honestly, props to him. I didn't even know. That's pretty cool. He even had an interest in being behind the camera in a part like that. But I think he had a really good eye for what this movie was going for. And especially the way it was shot, too. It was shot on a 35 milliliter, which the movie lets you know right in the beginning, which is pretty funny, too. This movie breaks a lot of rules in the beginning. That made me go, this movie needs to stop flexing so hard, but also keep going. It was just doing so much cool shit with it. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I can be as subtle as I want and geek out about this, but this movie is just really, really cool. There's no way to put it. It was it took a really simple story and it somehow made it very, very original. There's not much else I can say.
There isn't, because I had a base understanding of the film, because even the trailers are kept fairly vague.
I watched the trailers last night, and it does a really good job in not showing you a lot.
Yeah, which if they do show you a lot, it would just wind up, it
takes away the fun.
Right, it would just tell you what the film is. Yeah. So going into this,
Did you see a trailer beforehand, or did you
I
just
did.
hear about the hype? Okay.
No, I did see a trailer. And I thought I was getting into what the trailer kind of paints. And going into the, like, as the film progresses, it's very, like, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm trying to dance around it and not, like,
You're doing a good job. You tiptoeing.
and not say exactly what it is, but
Yeah, I get what you mean. And when the movie started, I was like, okay, because I had the basic idea of what the movie was about. All I knew was that this movie was about a one night stand gone wrong. That was it. I only knew that, and the two people in it. I avoided trailers, and I just kept hearing it was a movie worth checking out, that people were digging it. And then I saw the score was pretty damn high, and I was like, okay, that's weird. I was like, let me check this out then. And it started at first, I'm like stylistically, I'm like, this is cool, but I'm like, is there going to be more substance? Because like 15 minutes have passed by, and I'm like, I'm still not sure what's happening. And I know the movie's going to take its time telling me now, because once you see like, what was it? A thriller
told in 6 chapters.
Yeah. And then it jumps to chapter 3 starting off. I was like,
yeah,
okay, we're here now. Cool, for sure. And then it was just jumping around, and I was like, all right, this movie's going to take its time presenting, the full story. And I can see that annoying a lot of people. I could even see it annoying a lot of people that saw that trailer and they wanted what that trailer presented. And then they go in here and they walk out like, oh, I can see a lot of people kind of maybe being annoyed by that. Because I know there's people out there that they don't like it when they walk in to a movie and it's not what was pitched to them. I know there's like a crowd of moviegoers like that.
But I think if executed well, it can make up for that, because like this is one of those instances. The movie isn't what it paints in the trailers, but it's executed well enough that you kind of forgive that. I think also if it was what the trailers pitched, I do think if the movie, not so much what the trailers pitched, I think if the movie was told in chronological order, it wouldn't hit as hard as it did.
No, it wouldn't have. Because it would be tense. There'd be tension, but the thing is, because of the way the story is told, there's newfound tension in where these certain scenes are placed throughout, how the story is told.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be there if you just told it in a linear fashion.
They start the story, as you mentioned, with chapter 3, but they give you just enough information without knowing the full context of certain things, so that when they start jumping around, because I think after 3 they go to 5, and then even then you get just a little bit, just to, not red herring, but just to kind of like mislead
piece together
you
what may be happening.
And then eventually all these chapters are revisited, but with the knowledge of what's going on. And I think if we...
Sorry.
No, you're good. I think if we had... Because chapter 1 explains exactly what's happening. Or is it 2?
Or at least... No, chapter 2, I think, is where it starts to really show you what's going down.
If we started from the beginning, I don't think there would be... no shock value, there wouldn't be as large of a shock value.
Yeah, it wouldn't have it's like you said, it just wouldn't have hit as hard. And just knowing where it goes from there, it's still crazy. It's still absolutely bad shit. Once you start to realize where it's going, you're like, oh god, this is horrifying, this is disturbing, this is really fucked up, and it's also really fucking fun. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think JT was very smart of how he padded it out. You can tell he was like a fan of like horror movies and thrillers in general, and he takes a lot of these tropes that everyone is aware of, and he likes to play with them and do something really different and unique, and show these tropes to us in a way that makes them feel very, very fresh. My light just died. Fun. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Shoot. Technical difficulties. All right, let's see if that works for now. But yeah, that's gonna be all I'm gonna be able to really say about this movie. Other than the fact that it is between this and Alien Romulus for being my favorite horror movie of the year. It's really, really tough. I think I know which one it still will be by the time 2024 ends and we go over like our top horror movies of the year. But they're very, very close. They're neck and neck for me. This movie is so... It feels like this movie was made for me. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I don't know how it will be on a rewatch because I've seen Alien Romulus twice and I want to own it. Like, I still want to rewatch that movie. Yeah. This one I do want to rewatch. I don't know if I'd own it, and I don't know how it will... I don't know how a second viewing will impact my opinion on this one. I mean, I still think it'll be clever, but it's like once you know where with movies like this, once you know where they're going, it's kind of hard, and you kind of already have everything. Like rewatches, kind of like they just don't hit the same for some movies.
Yeah,
like Memento. But I don't know. Like Memento is a Christopher Nolan movie that kind of has a similar structure where it jumps around in time a lot, within a span of 2 days or so. And that's a movie I definitely still enjoy rewatching. So who knows? Maybe this one will do the same thing.
I don't know where this one is going to sit. Yeah, like you said, it's not something I think I would gain much from rewatching. It is good, and I do recommend you go out and see it. I don't know if it sits, and we'll see at the end of 2024, if it sits as high as my list on yours does.
Okay.
Because I don't think anything is going to top Long Legs for me this year.
You see, this is what I wanted from Long Legs to make me feel like this excited for like horror thrillers.
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to top Long Legs for me.
And I get it. No, like, I know you like fucking love that movie. Like,
yeah.
You believe that's a masterpiece.
And I think Alien is number 2.
Okay.
Is really, really close to number 1, but I do think I'm gonna put it as number 2 just because Alien is fun, and it's a damn good film, and I love Fede Alvarez.
Yeah.
But there is just a feeling of discomfort that I got from Long Legs that I can't ignore. That really impacted my viewing experience.
No, and I get that.
But yeah, I like this. It may be my top 5, but we'll see.
Yeah. You see, that's like, it's funny because like, this one's definitely my top 5. Romulus is in my top 5. Long Legs is at least top 10 because I still think that's a very special horror movie. But there's just a few more that I enjoyed a lot more, especially on a few rewatches already, where I was like, I can't. Like, this movie really. Like, honestly, I know you haven't seen it yet. You should definitely watch Late Night with the Devil. That's definitely up there for me. There's a few more on the top 5 for me where I'm like, or in the top 10 where I'm like, I don't know what's gonna go where because there's so many good horror movies that came out this year. But I'm excited to go through them, and you definitely have to go through some of these too, honestly. But that's gonna be our, discussion of this film in the non-spoiler section. Go see it. It is so worth your time. Go with a bunch of friends and go watch it. You guys will have a blast. I promise you. This movie is so fun. So much going on, and it'll keep you all guessing and keep you all talking. This movie's very small, so I don't see this staying in theaters too long, it may be coming to streaming within 3 weeks. I'm calling it right now, honestly. Like Borderlands, it's been 3 weeks. That movie just got announced. It's going to be on VOD like in the next day or two. And I'm like, that just came out in theaters. So yeah, a lot of these movies that they're not making a lot of money, they're just going straight to streaming at this point. Yeah. So, but I would recommend just go to the theater because, you know, give this movie the money. We need more movies like this, more original stuff, more movies, more thrillers that are just super, super fun and get very creative. So yes, go see this. We're going to be talking spoilers. Please, if you still are here and you have not seen this movie, go watch it and come back. This is the only time you'll ever hear me say this. If you haven't seen a movie, go watch it, then come back if you're that curious. Okay, so
you've said that a few times.
The what?
That's not the only time you've said that. Don't lie to them.
I probably said it a few times, but I really mean it this time. Okay, this is the most serious of them all. Yeah, so this movie is got a lot of twists and turns. So it starts with chapter 3 and then goes to chapter 5, and it's mainly focusing on Kyle Gallner just hunting this chick down. And then you jump back to chapter 1, and it shows them on their first date to this motel room. And there's a lot of things going on in this room that are very shocking, and I can see being very triggering too.
Somebody walked out
at that moment.
Yeah.
I've heard a few people have walked out at festivals last year because of those scenes.
Yeah, somebody walked out of my theater. I was super uncomfortable, and not like long legs uncomfortable. Like I was like, do I want to keep watching this? Like,
yeah, I was like,
it was like, yeah, it like long legs is like a good uncomfortable because you're like, oh fuck, like this is, it makes you uneasy, like in a scared way. This was uneasy and like I'm just uncomfortable and I don't want to watch this. Like just
I
don't want to say queasy, but you know.
Yeah, I felt that way, and I was like, I don't like where this is going.
Yeah.
And then, thankfully, you know, you stuck around for a few more minutes, and you realize, oh, no, she's into it.
Yeah.
Oh, these two are fucking freaks. Oh my god. And then it goes further, like, especially because it takes it a step further, and you think she's not into it, and then you realize, no, that's her fucking thing. She likes, and then you start thinking, oh, this is some twisted fucking game. And then I just love that the movie kept twisting it and twisting the plot. And then you learn, like, no, she's the fucking electric lady. Holy shit. Because that opening crawl, which is very Texas Chainsaw, it's awesome, never states the killer's name. And you're just like, all right. At least I don't think. Yeah, no, they definitely didn't state the name because otherwise you would have hinted on.
No, because the movie paints it as him being the serial killer.
Yeah, like his name's the Demon, which I'm just like,
yeah,
knowing the context now, why?
Yeah, I feel like they could have named him. They could have just called him like the Man or something.
Yeah,
like,
I was like, call him the Man, and I don't know why you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something I'm missing with that, but I don't understand. Or maybe I do. I don't know. Okay, so question. There's moments throughout this movie that she sees a flash of something when she's looking at somebody.
No. She explains it to the cop. She says, and this is what I thought was kind of cool about the ending. She explains it to the cop when he's like, why do you do this? Or he asks her something, and she says, I don't know. Sometimes I look at people and I see dolls. I think that's what she says. I think she says she sees dolls. Yeah,
that's what I thought too. It was like dolls or dogs. I'm assuming dolls.
Yeah, I'm assuming that. And then, super spoiler alert.
We're already in spoilers. Whoever's here, they're fucked.
So when she's looking at him, and her face changes, that's her, like, that's a doll, that's someone I can play with, that's who I'm gonna kill. At the end of the film, when she looks in that side view mirror and she sees herself, you see that face change again, and that's her seeing herself as a doll. When she pulls the gun at the end, her, at least this is what I'm taking from that, her intention was to kill herself.
Right.
Because she didn't look at that lady before she kills anybody in this film, except for the old guy. She has that face.
Yeah.
I think she was going to kill herself because she had that gun pointed at that woman for a while, and she didn't pull the trigger, and the woman shoots her. And not only does, after the woman shoots her, as she's dying, she's smiling at the woman because the woman did what she was going to do herself.
Yeah, which is funny because, like, that's an interesting point. But I also meant she does mention to Cal Gallagher's character how she doesn't mind going to jail. She just minds she doesn't want to die. She mentions that, I think, twice by the end.
She does.
And then what? So is it that she looks at herself and that changed, that shifted?
I just
Is it
think
because she finally looked at what she was becoming.
I do think she's clearly just, like, not right in the head. And she decides her kills over who looks like dolls to her.
Yeah.
And that score that we hear and that face change that happens is her being like, "You're my next target." She doesn't want to die. She's scared. She says that, but I think her looking at herself is kind of that psychotic side of her going, "Okay, you're next," and she was, her herself is next.
Good point. Yeah, because I remember thinking that's what she was gonna do too, and then, like, the gun was, like, pointed towards the lady that picks her up at the end, and I was like, huh, interesting.
I think she was just weak.
Yeah, like, she was just being slow because she lost a lot of blood and stuff. She was tired, drained. She was just all fucking out of it. Like, there was definitely no way she was getting out of that situation. Yeah. I don't care how lucky you are. But yeah, this she's very Willa Fitzgerald. She really, like, leans into playing this psychotic serial killer, and I really bought it, especially with, like, her dialogue. Her dialogue is really good. For the most part, there's some. I don't think it was the dialogue that was bad. I felt like there was some delivery from a lot of the, like, side characters, like the side actors, that kind of felt awkward.
Speaking of side characters, can we talk about the scariest fucking part of the movie? The breakfast.
Abomination of breakfast. Oh my god.
The movie is wild. When the breakfast scene happens, I audibly was like, what the fuck?
Dude, like, I couldn't stop laughing. My theater was laughing because I busted out, and then everyone, like, was just like, okay, what the fuck? Like, they were started laughing too because it looked so gross. Disgusting.
What the fuck?
I was like, they're clearly hippies because they're smoking that good stuff, and they're just throwing together whatever.
He throws a whole stick of butter in a pan with, like, 2 fucking eggs.
I was like, Jesus.
And I think it's like fucking 4 eggs or some shit. It's a lot.
Yeah, and then, like, pancakes sandwiched in between them, and it's like,
it's all the sandwich. Like, it's all, like, it's pancakes and eggs and a stick of butter,
cream syrup,
blueberries. I think there's bacon.
I think there's strawberries too.
I think there's sausage.
Yes, sausage. There's a shit ton of sausage.
Yeah. It's wet. Oh my god! I
feel like if I took one bite of that, I'd throw up.
It's the worst part of the movie. Like, horrifying.
That's the scariest part of this entire movie. Was that breakfast?
Yeah, it's if the people that had walked out of my theater didn't walk out at that one scene we were talking about, they would have walked out there.
Yeah. Oh man, maybe that's why they were acting so. I thought those two actors were so weird. Like, and I've seen them before in a bunch of other stuff. I'm pretty sure that wife is the mom and the grandma in Insidious. Let me double check. Yeah, she's the grandmother in the Insidious movies. And she's in Black Swan. And then that other guy is in Better Call Saul. And I know they're good actors, but I don't know what was up with their delivery in some of their lines. It kind of felt off almost. I don't know. I felt like those characters were kind of odd, and I think they were bad. They serviced the plot well for what they needed, but there was just something kind of off with them.
Yeah, they're doomsday preppers.
Hmm?
They're doomsday preppers.
I mean,
they're
aside
supposed to be
from
weird.
That, you know, I mean, you can still, but I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell if like the way they were talking was supposed to be funny or not. I don't know. Maybe I was overthinking it, but it was just something I couldn't help but like be like, this is just weird.
I think they were supposed to be really fucking strange because in that moment we think she's innocent.
Yeah.
And she's stuck with these people who are fucking odd.
Yeah.
And
to make her seem like the normal one, I guess.
Yeah, but also for her to be scared and be like, fuck, like this is who I have to protect me.
Yeah.
And then we learn that she's not the one who needs protection.
And also, we should have known from the moment that she barfed down that breakfast, that abomination of a breakfast, that she was psycho. Like, straight up. Dude. Yeah, it's, yeah, I can't get that image out of my head now. Ugh. Talk about most disturbing image of the year is that breakfast. But, yeah, that was cool. And then also with Kyle Gallner, how she how their chemistry was in those first few chapters when like it's just them and they're really trying to get to know each other in this room. I thought their chemistry was honestly on point. I think this is honestly, I said it earlier, this is the best he's been in any movie I've seen him. Really, he was really good in The Passenger, but here he like plays it straight, which is nice to see because I feel like he's always typecast as a psycho. Mm-hmm. At least he's starting to get typecast as that psycho guy. But I thought it was really good here. This is like one of my favorite characters he's played. And he really had me fooled, I guess, or I guess the movie really did most of the carrying, but like he really had me fooled at first on the type of character he was, and then you realize like, oh no, he's actually aside from like him trying to cheat on his wife, he's a pretty decent guy for the most part.
Yeah.
But I thought he was good. And yeah, those scenes just alone in the bedroom with like him and Willa are just so intense. Yeah. Even if it is consensual, it's just, very icky, but they really commit and go for it. So props to just both of them because these are very strong roles, and I know a lot of people couldn't really pull them off. That's all I don't know if I got much else to say about this movie. There's so much I loved about it. I've already gone through like the cinematography alone. The music is good too. A little too loud sometimes, and you can't hear the dialogue, but still really good. And I love the constant use of Love Hurts that plays throughout the movie, that little cover version of it. I thought it was very fitting. And that's honestly about it I think I got to say.
Yeah,
unless I'm missing something. I don't know what else I would really go over. This movie's more of like, there's not much to break down in this film. It's more of just the experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so unique at what it does. But yeah, those scenes, like the dynamic of like those two characters and how like they're, how it's like starts to change between chapter after chapter, and like the things that you wouldn't be tense about earlier in the film now become very tense as it progresses. And yeah, other than that, no other problems. I mean, it was very well paced. I don't really have much of an issue with this one. I think it's definitely, honestly, I want to say I might give this a 10 out of 10. Because I really have nothing wrong. I mean, I could be a dickhead and knock it down for that breakfast, like 0.25, but I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference.
It's odd. Like there isn't anything about the movie that I necessarily have an issue with, but I don't know if I would give it's good. And I highly recommend everybody see it. There's no, as you mentioned, there's no rewatchability for it.
Right.
And for that, I feel like, I mean, you could rewatch it, but like you mentioned, like what else is there? It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
For that, I don't think I can give it a 10 out of 10.
Right.
I think I would give it like an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know, because I don't know. I just loved. There was just so much I really was just geeking out over from the way it was written.
The only thing I would say is I would rewatch this if every time I rewatched it, it was a different set of actors. Like if I went back and it was like Michael Cera and if it was like Michael Cera and Melissa McCarthy and and every time you rewatch it, it's a new set of actors.
I can't picture that. Or so only if Michael Cera plays the lady and Melissa McCarthy plays the demon, then I'll watch it, because I can't picture Michael being like dominant like that.
That's the best part. That's why he has to do it.
Oh shoot. Oh, that would be perfect. That'd be the perfect remake. 5 years from now. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'd watch it. I think this is definitely one I'm also going to be like showing my friends. I'll be like, you got to sit down and watch this movie. It's so fucked up. Oh my God. Watch it. Sit. Enjoy.
Yeah, I would definitely like, if someone was like, hey, I want to watch it, I would sit down and watch it again then, but I don't think I would go out of my way to see it again.
Right, I get you. No, if it's like I said, it's going to make me reevaluate my rating for Alien Romulus, which I've already reevaluated that too. It's definitely higher than the score I gave it last time. Since my second rewatch, because that's how much I enjoyed it even more the second time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's gonna be really neck to neck with this one, and there's still a few more we have to see and a few more that are coming out. I don't know if they'll make it up there. I know a lot of people have been talking about Oddity. That's one I definitely need to sit down and watch.
What is that on?
It is only available to rent. I don't know if it's streaming yet. I think it is, and if it is streaming, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on Shudder. Yeah, Shudder. But yeah, I think we should definitely look into that next, and see how that plays out. And then we got Smile 2. We have Night Bitch, which is a horror comedy with Amy Adams. But other than that, that's about it. I don't really know much else coming out. I think it's going to be more catch up for us at this point.
There's Terrifier.
That's right, Terrifier 3. Jeez, I keep forgetting. All right, so yeah, that's one we're definitely going to have to prep for. We're going to have to watch Terrifier 1 and 2. And I can't wait for you to tell me how much you're going to hate those movies. But yeah, that's going to do it for our thoughts on Strange Darling. Very, very fun movie. Absolutely loved it. This is definitely going to be on my mind for quite some time. And I'm definitely going to be showing it off to all my horror friends. Even my non-horror friends are going to be able to sit down and watch this. Like, just shut up, enjoy it. So yeah, great job to the cast. Kyle Gardner, Willa Fitzgerald, JT Molnar. Bravo. You really killed it. Did you guys, well, I mean, hopefully, if you're still watching this at this point, you have seen the movie. What did you think about this movie? Did you love it? Did you think it was a 10 out of 10 like me? Did you think it was an 8 out of 10 like Jerry? Or were you like those people in his theater who just walked out and said, fuck this movie, never again? Comment down below and let us know. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram and our TikTok to see updates for upcoming reviews and other stuff going on around there. That is going to be our episode for today. Once again, I am your co-host, Brandon.
I'm Jerry.
Looking for trouble. Edition.